Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2025 Chevrolet Trailblazer. I want to walk through how to install the CURT Class 3 trailer hitch receiver. So what our hitch is going to look like when it's installed. Cross tube is completely hidden behind the fascia. The only thing we can really see is the receiver tube. So it maintains a nice clean look. Adding a Class 3 hitch like this onto a vehicle like this, it's a small family SUV. It can be used for taking on road trips, stuff like that. So maybe putting a bike rack on here, maybe even a cargo carriers to make a little bit of extra room inside for your passengers. It's going to work great for all those options. Our neighbor today is actually only going to be using it for a bike rack. One thing to keep in mind is depending on how many bikes you're going to carry, will depend on the size hitch you need. Class 3 hitch, if you have the option for a Class 3 hitch, I would automatically go with a Class 3 hitch. That way you have all the options for the amount of bikes you can put on it. If you go lower than that, then you're limited to a certain number of bikes that you can carry with that smaller hitch. This hitch is going to give us a 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, so it's really going to allow the majority of accessories to fit in it. Reinforced collar, so it gives it a nice clean look. Hitch pin hole is going to be 5/8 inch in diameter. It's going to take a standard 5/8 pin clip. The pin and clip does not come with it, however they can be found here at eTrailer. Safety chain loops are going to be rolled steel. You can see very large openings, so they're going to accommodate pretty much any size safety chain hook that you have. Now I'm going to give you a few measurements to help you when deciding on any of those bike racks, ball mounts, cargo carriers. From the center of our hitch pin hole to the outermost part of our fascia is going to be about 6 inches. That number is important for your bike racks and your cargo carriers that fold up. You want to make sure they're not going to make contact. From the ground to the top innermost part of our receiver tube, right now we're at about 20 inches. We're going to take off 8 inches from the lift that we're on, so that's going to bring us to 12 inches. With it being at 12 inches, I always recommend if you plan on pulling a trailer, make sure the ball mount is in the rise position. That's going to give you a little bit of extra ground clearance. Something to keep in mind, if you ever plan on towing a trailer, I recommend when you order your hitch, go ahead and order the wiring too, install that at the same time. As far as the installation process on the hitch itself, it's not difficult. You are going to have to remove the whole fascia, which is not hard. Few simple tools, you can do it in your garage. You can do it in your driveway within a few hours. If it's something you don't think you have the time to do or space to do, you can always check out our dealer locator, find someone near you that is able to put it in for you. If you want to give it a try, I promise you, you can do it. Follow along with me and I'll walk through how to do it now. Starter installation, we're going to pop these two little covers off. They got a little open end, just take a little screwdriver, trim panel tool, pop those out. Take a T25 Torx bit, remove the 2 screws. Easiest way that I've found to do this. In the instructions, we're going to show a trim panel tool here and here. However, there's a little tab right here that the light slides onto. If you're prying out on it, it's going to make it hard to get it off there. So if you come right back here to this corner, kind of get down in there, pry towards the body of the vehicle, it'll kind of pop that loose, and you can just slide this back. Then what we're going to do is we need to remove our wiring. Pop your wiring out of that clip. We're going to spin this open, and inside there's going to be a little plug. If you can see the black square at the top, or a rectangle, on this side of it, at the very top, you're just going to take a little tool and push in. Right there. Push in, and then I'll pop that loose. Then we're going to come right down here. We're going to move this screw. Then we're going to repeat that process on the other side of the vehicle. Next, we're going to be taking off this trim piece here. This is what it's going to look like. In the instructions, it's going to tell you to pop this off and then pop these out of the body. However, I would not suggest doing that because when you pry on this, you can either break the ends of these and you have to replace them, or it's going to stretch out where these things fit in place and these won't go back on. So I'm going to show you an easier way to do it, to pop this off and keep these in place. If one happens to come off and stay on the body, we can pop it off and put it on, but the majority of these are going to stay on this panel as we take them off. So what we're going to do is take a trim panel tool like this. We carry these different set here at eTrailer. It's got the little U shape in it like that, or fork. We're going to find an open spot where we can get behind it. We're going to pry it out, and you'll be able to see these little tabs here. They're going to run across the top and the bottom if you remember what we just looked at. What you want to do is you want to get this back behind there. And what it's going to do is it's going to squeeze those two little ends in that hook on inside the body and allow that to pop out. You're just going to slowly work your way down. Some of them will pop out. And don't forget the ones at the bottom. That one popped right out. Everything looks good there. We didn't have any come off. If they do, this will be stuck in the body. Just pry it out. Just pop it back in place where it goes. And we're going to take a 7mm socket. We're going to remove these two screws. We're going to repeat that on the other side. And we're going to take a T25 Torx bit. We're going to have 3 screws in our wheel well on each side of the vehicle. Take our 7mm, remove these 2 screws. We're going to take a trim panel tool. We're going to have a push pin fastener here. And one here. Be a little opening where you can get the trim panel tool back behind it and pull that head down. Once you do that on one side, you're going to repeat it on the opposite side of the vehicle. So with an extra set of hands, we're going to start removing our fascia. What I like to do is tape the 2 seams from our rear fascia and our body panel here, just in case when we go to put it back on, if one of them overlaps, it's not going to scratch the paint. We're going to start on the very outside. We're going to pull out, pop it loose, and then right up here in the corner, if you look down, there's a little tab right there. What you need to do is take a screwdriver, push that tab in, just like that. It'll loosen it here. And we're going to slowly start to pull it out. What we need to keep in mind is that we probably have wiring and stuff back there. So we don't just want to pull it off, because we're going to have wire and we're going to have to disconnect. We're going to have a plug here. Push the red tab up, the lock. Push down that black section. Sometimes these can be a pain because they're out in the weather. Do it like that. We're going to have a second one right over here. Once you get those disconnected, we'll set our fascia aside. Next, you want to take a utility knife. You want to slice this, the seam there, right along this edge. All that is a sealer. And then along this side here. Do that on both sides. And we're going to take 15mm socket. We're going to remove the 3 nuts. I will suggest take 2 of them off, leave one of them loose while you're doing the other side so that one side doesn't fall off. It just helps hold it up there in place. Pull this off and set it aside. We're going to come back. We need to clean all of this off. You can use a flathead screwdriver. If you have a flat blade, you can use it as well. It'd probably work a little bit better than a flat screwdriver. We need to do this on both sides. Now we're going to take our receiver, set it in place over the studs. It may be easier if you have an extra set of hands. If you can do it by yourself, great. We're going to take the bumper beam, and we need to put it right over the top. Like that. We'll get a nut started on each side. I'll hold it in place. Then we can reinstall our remaining hardware. Make sure your hitch is centered, and we'll come back and we'll tighten the nuts down. And we're going to come back. We're going to torque our hardware to the specification of the instructions. So these little clips that, if you remember, when we were pulling off these plugs, they slipped off. Pop these plugs out of the bumper beam, slide them back onto the end of the plug. Just don't put them in the bumper beam yet. Once we get our fascia, start to put it back on, it's going to be easier to plug this in like this and then put it in the bumper beam than with it in like this. So we'll just leave it hang. We go to put our fascia back on, we'll click them together and then stick them in the bumper beam. Next thing we need to do is we need to trim out the section of the lower fascia. You need to find center and then follow the instructions for the measurements. Excuse me. What I use is painter's tape and marked it off that way rather than marking it with a marker. I'm just going to use a rotary tool with a cutting blade. You probably use 10 snips on this. It doesn't feel too awfully thick. For the little burrs there, just pull them out, take a utility knife, just run it across there. Next, we'll get our fascia put back in place. Go ahead and reconnect your plugs. Make sure you push the locks down. Stick them back on the bumper beam. And then we're going to install our fascia in reverse order from the way we took it off. Start in the middle this time and work your way out. Once you have your fascia reinstalled, you're ready to go. It's going to do it for a look at an installation of the CURT Class 3 Trailer Hitch receiver on a 2025 Chevrolet Trailblazer.